We got Darren Smith for KOKC in Kansas City. He's the host of the ship. And Darren, you said you hit it a little bit here. You hit it a little bit earlier in terms of the AFC and what we're going to do. I got a little. We're going to talk about the Kansas City Chiefs and the Browns coming up here in a little bit. First of all, as you know, we just alluded to a huge week in the AFC North. Thursday night, Ravens versus the Bengals. Then you got Sunday afternoon, you got the Browns versus Steelers, and the Browns have the Steelers at home. What do you make of so far of the AFC North? Right now, it's looking like one of the strongest divisions in football. If you had to pick, I mean, who's the weakest link in this division? It's hard for me to sit here and say the Bengals are the weakest link, even though they did lose to C.J. Stroud, who is Superman all of a sudden. C.J. Stroud is just the great. That man's just doing what he wants. And the Pittsburgh Steelers, who continue to find ways to win football games. Who would you say? I mean, is this the best division in football? And is this who's the worst? I don't see a worst.
It is the best division because at the moment, all four teams, I take it back. Cincinnati would be on the outskirts, but before yesterday's game, all four teams would have made the playoffs had it started yesterday. I would actually say that Cincinnati is the weakest. Look, man, Mike Tomlin just finds a way to get the most out of his players, and find ways to win games. Now, granted, I told you before, Deshaun Watson, gifted them that game in week number 2, I think it was against.
Yep.
And that's something that's, that was your Jets game from last year that happened during the same time. But if I had to pick a team, it would be the Bengals. One, because they started off slow, with the losing because of Burrow's injury, and they won 4 in a row. But you are supposed to beat the team that you're supposed to beat, and granted they were favorites, and I think Houston is on the come up because of C.J. Stroud and Will Anderson in that defense. That yesterday's loss was a setback for them because now, again, selfishly, yes, I would want the Bengals to beat the Ravens in that game as well. But I also feel as someone covers the Chiefs that I wouldn't have any love lost if the Ravens knock off the Bengals because I'll just get on social media and do some more trash talking to the Bengals. So,
get them boys up out of here. Right?
Yeah, so I'm fine with that. They're in last place in the division, which that's where they deserve to be, and so I I don't really have a dog in the fight. I'm just glad on a Thursday night game that we finally got a good game, because the last couple of weeks have been an abomination. And so hopefully both teams come to play, can win some money off that game on Thursday night. And then obviously, against the Steelers, it is important that you all split. You all have that game at home, which is a good thing. And so, if Deshaun Watson is healthy enough to play, the defense, I already know the defense is going to be on point. So it's just a matter of making sure Deshaun Watson and that offense is on point, limit the turnovers and the penalties, and everything else will work out for itself, in my opinion.
Yeah, listen, see, this is tricky because obviously, you say for selfish reasons, you got the Baltimore Ravens, and I think, to be truthful, I wouldn't want to play the Ravens. I'd rather play the Bengals. Like, you take a look at what's going on. Ravens just lost to us. That means they're 7-3. If they can lose that game again at 7-4, gives the Browns an opportunity to move into first place in the AFC North. Now, with the Kansas City Chiefs, you guys only lost 2 games, right?
Yeah, they're 7. Yeah, they're 7-2.
And so even in one of the losses really don't hurt you that much because it's the Lions and it's an NFC team. And have you lost a game in the division yet?
Yeah, it was actually on the road. It was in Denver, so we lost to Denver where they ended a 16-game losing streak to us, to the Chiefs.
I forgot. That seems like 8 years ago, don't it?
It felt that way. I mean, what happened was, the players were looking ahead to go to Germany. So they were looking past Denver to get to Germany to play the Miami Dolphins. So, but
see, I look at this and we'll kind of foreshadow this. Not only, are the Cleveland Browns. I mean, they would have to have a lot of things have to happen. I mean, you got to talk about, I'll give the Chiefs credit. The fact that they look for home field advantage throughout the rest of the play. That's what they want. They want you to have to come to Arrowhead. For us, it's like baby steps. We just want to get to a point. We just want to be relevant in the AFC North, get a wild card. But now you take a look forward. If you're able to beat the Pittsburgh Steelers, you're looking at controlling your own destiny throughout the rest of the way, saying, look, guys, we had everything we want in front of us. They can win this division and get a home field playoff game, which has not been seen in this city in decades. So that's a huge part of it. That's a little ahead of ourselves, but like I said before, this game against the Pittsburgh Steelers is important for one thing. Well, everything you did against Baltimore, to solidify that, you got to beat Pittsburgh. You can't drop 2 to them.
Yeah, no, and I agree. And what I was going to say is that I do have Cincinnati beating Baltimore just because I think they have the skill set, at least at the wideouts and with Mixon, to put points on the board. And I think their loss to the Texans on yesterday, that's kind of going to, that's going to do something for their psyche to where, Tyler Boyd is going to have a big game against the Ravens. So I do see them beating Baltimore. And if they do, granted, that's going to put more pressure on you all because now you all know what's going to be ahead of you.
Yep.
If it knocks off Baltimore, that leaves you with 2 to 3 days like, damn, if we win, we could be in first place and the sky's the limit. Now, look, I'm not concerned about, playoff seeding, whatever we can see, because I think at the end of the day, Kansas City is gonna have the number 1 seed. But I do think it will be big for Cleveland if they can win that division, have a home game, and then you just let the chips fall where they may. Because I think if you have a home game, you'll turn around and play a division opponent, whether it's Pittsburgh or Baltimore. I think even if they win, I think the schedule is going to be tough for Cincinnati to still make, because they still have to play you all again. They'll have to play the Chiefs, and I think there's some other teams that they'll have to play as well that might, I think they play. Well, no, they did play San Francisco. So, depending on what the rest of the schedule looks like, it's just hard for me to see, especially if they don't win Thursday. If they don't win on Thursday, I don't see them making the playoffs. If they do win on Thursday, they'll have an outside shot, but they'll still be in last place. So,
yeah, listen, it's going to be. Look, I think that game is going to be entertaining. It's all about. It's funny. I feel like the Bengals match up well against the Ravens, but then I feel like the Browns match up well against against the Bengals, and for whatever reason the Browns can't seem to beat the Steelers. Like even when the teams, they ain't even that good. Like the Steelers just seem to do something. So all those things being equal, I think it's going to be a pretty interesting week coming up. Tim Hart says, any report yet? And are we going to be gimping into the Pittsburgh game? Well, I think, that's par for the course. I think got a net. Go ahead.
I was saying nobody's 100%, middle of the season. It's just
it's this week 10. Look, people anything past training camp, when you get by week 4, ain't nobody good. So if you want the regular report, you got Jed Wills is on IR. You got the other Conklin is on IR. Deshaun Watson took the MRI. We don't know what's up with that, but that's just routine when you have any sort of injury. They want to make sure everything is ruled out. You got who was it? Denzel Ward. We thought he went in for concussion protocol. He passed concussion protocol. End up being a neck injury. So we don't know what's going on with that yet. There'll probably be a lot of guys on the report. I wouldn't be surprised if you get if Kevin Stefanski gives the guys a day off. Guys like obviously this is Darius Smith. I would expect maybe even Joe Bitonio. He has knee surgery during the bye week a couple weeks ago. He's out there playing, and Myles Garrett was banged up a little bit. So I suggest those kids rest.
Up and kickoff. That's all you got to do.
Was that?
I said, give Myles Garrett the rest of the week off. Tell him to show up and kick off.
That's it. We don't even need the rest of that. Like we good on that. Don't even worry about that, man. We good on that. Ray Smith, you got your hoodie today. I appreciate you. Salute. I appreciate you, my man. Let's see. Look, the Baker Bros is still out here, right? Yeah, you play. They throw the JK on it now, but like at halftime, they was about it. They was about that life. They was about that life, Darren. I'm telling you that. Oh man, let's get to our before we go, let's get to our next break. When we get back, we're gonna talk about the scenario. Darren says it, man. Look, he threw it out there. Don't say I'm jinxing nothing. Could we have a preview of the Browns versus Chiefs?
Hey,
right?
My victory lap, man. I'm ready to run my victory lap.
He's gonna get his victory lap also, or get his victory lap money off as well. We'll do that coming back. It's G. Bush and Darren Smith on the UCSS YouTube page. Let me tell you about my people, my man Jason at Phenomenal and Phenomenal Barbershop out in Lakewood. People always say, G. Bush, where you get your hair cut? I got to put you on to my man Jason, man. Call him today, 216-385-8861. He'll take your appointment. Really nice environment, family environment. They don't do all the cursing. They don't do a bunch of barbershop talk. They just give you a good solid haircut and keep it pushing, man. So we'll, Jason will get you together. Address is 11827 Detroit Avenue, Lakewood, Ohio, 44107. Go down there. Make sure you say, G. Bush told me to come out here, give you that good solid haircut, get you together, make sure he gets you together. Jason, big-time Browns fan. He'll probably talk your ear off about the Browns the whole time, but that's what you pay for, right? Go down there, get a good cut, good conversation, and good quality. Phenomenal Barbershop in Lakewood. All right, Darren, you talked about it. You said I need to get my victory lap on. You said, listen, my man Juan throwing him up here killing. He's gonna bring that fire, that passion to the game. And Juan Thornhill has been a big time catalyst for why the Browns are moving the way they are. Let's get your victory lap off, dog.
Well, first things first, I'm not one to brag, but I'll do it this time only because you give me the platform to do so. I would have done this on UCSS, but I haven't got that invite back yet. So I don't know if we're at the midway.
Is that a disconnect? See, everybody, I got the two people that people ask for the most. They say, yo, when is Darren Smith coming back? And when is Quincy Carrier coming back? I need y'all to keep putting the pressure on them fellas over there. I'm a good soldier. I look out. I'm like, listen, I'll be putting them. I said, listen, come on, man. I'll be sending the emails and the texts. I said, we need both of them brothers back on immediately, ASAP.
Man, look, let me tell you something. So, we always like to keep receipts. Well, I remember back in August when you had me on, I told y'all, and this was, of course, when the Browns were coming to Kansas City. I told you all that that Juan Thornhill was going to be that guy, and listening to the show, watching the show today, I heard Jason talk about just how much you can tell there's a big difference when Juan Thornhill's in the game. I know because we had that for 4 years here in Kansas City. So I know what kind of player, what kind of person he is, and what he brings to a defense too. I also said that Jim Schwartz was going to be that guy. Like he's going to be the difference maker, and he's going to be the reason why Myles Garrett would be the defensive player of the year, whatever, because his scheme, the players that he brought in and that he's putting in his system. I mean, it's going to be a total night and day switch from what you all were dealing with last year. And then basically, like I said, if Deshaun Watson is anywhere near what he was in 2020 with the Houston Texans, that with that defense, with Deshaun Watson and the offense that saying that they could possibly have. And granted, this was before we obviously Nick Chubb was going to was injured for the season. That there's no reason why Cleveland can't come to Kansas City for the Arrowhead Invitational Championship game.
Listen, it was, by the way, Darren, it was supposed to be the Cleveland Browns that was supposed to be the new upcoming age rival to the Kansas City Chiefs. We just let the Cincinnati Bengals come up here and steal all our thunder. We actually met through just when the Browns played the Chiefs the last year in the playoffs. Yeah. They end up losing that game. We listen, the Browns played the Chiefs the toughest we done seen. Listen, we about to be back next year. And then the whole situation fell apart with Baker Mayfield, OBJ, the whole thing fell apart. And then the Cincinnati Bengals just came in and scooped up, just pulled up right on us. It's like the dude, it's the underdog that took your girlfriend. You was playing around a little bit. The underdog came in, new dude from another school with his new cologne. You know what I'm saying? He dressed a little different, talk a little. Next thing you know, you're like, well, listen. Hey, whoa, Kansas City, you just flirting with the Bengals? That's y'all's new. And the Bengals, listen, I give them the Bengals, went to the Super Bowl, then you had the back and forth. So that was supposed to be us from get-go, though. That was already our move.
And like I said, and so now that I remember, I came on the show after Cleveland came to Kansas City, and I told you that my first impression was defensively, I loved everything that I saw because I know Myles Garrett sat out that game, Mahomes sat out that game. But I saw what that defense could be. Juan was in the game, and then I saw Zadarius Smith literally throw one of our tackles down. I'm looking like, damn it, man. I'm glad this ain't a regular season game, a playoff game. We'd have been in some trouble in that game. But I saw a glimpse of what that defense, what was going to be like, and that told me right there is like, you all have everything in place. You got the kicker in place because I remember doing a video clip that I sent Mikey McNuggets after the game, I think in the locker room with the kicker or whatever, in the Browns locker room after the game. But you all have all the pieces in place, but all you have to do is just go out there and perform. I mean, and look, beat the teams. Granted, you got Pittsburgh this Sunday. This is another quote unquote must win game. You win that, you're 7-3, I think it is. Or
yep.
Okay, but then you got the Broncos coming up. You should be able to beat the Broncos. You beat the Broncos, you're 8-3. So you're putting yourself and you're stacking up wins. That's what you need. Now, granted, look, everybody has to play their role and everybody has to do what they do. And not trying to look ahead, Kansas City has to get past Philadelphia next Monday night in the Super Bowl rematch. And so, if the Chiefs do that, obviously they still have Buffalo. They still have the Bengals as well on New Year's Eve, I believe. Take care of them. So, the Chiefs have to do their part. Browns have to do their part. I still think at the end of the day, just because of experience, coaching, players, I still think Kansas City gets the number 1 seed. But if the Browns can win their division, I like their chances in beating, winning the wild card game, getting a chance to play a divisional game. Depending on where they fall in the seeding, they could have home field advantage through the second round. And then if you win those 2 games, Chiefs win the 1 game that they would have to win. Now you get a chance to come to Kansas City, and I get to set out some hospitality for you.
Let me ask you this question. What do you make of some of the middling teams? When I say middling, what do you make of the Houstons of the world and another team that we've been seeing, the Jacksonville Jaguars? They did it. They made some noise last year. I thought they overachieved a little bit. They really got, to a point where they kind of made the playoffs, the sexy pick to say, they were going to be a team that with Trevor Lawrence that was going to be, they played well in Arrowhead. And it just seems like when you play well in Arrowhead and you lose to the Chiefs, you kind of that next team up. So, yeah. Like, what do you make of those teams? And do you think Houston can make enough noise in that division? Houston, Tennessee, we just talked about Jacksonville.
Well, I'll be honest. Between Houston and Jacksonville, I will be more concerned about Houston than I would Jacksonville. One, the Chiefs have, that they beat Jacksonville this year. They beat them at home in the playoffs last year. So kind of got their number. That's one thing. But Houston, because it's such a young team, they don't know what they don't know. And that's what would concern me because, again, they had no business beating Cincinnati yesterday.
Right.
With the mistakes that they did, CJ Stroud with the interception and the turnover the fumbles that he had, still went out and found a way to win. Now, when you can do that as a rookie, because now look, I don't know if you watched the game because I think you all might have been doing your post.
I went back and watched it.
And man, the thing that caught my eye when Cincinnati went down and scored, I think it was a field goal or whatever they scored to tie the game up. All CJ Stroud did was look for his helmet, grabbed his helmet, and put it on, and was ready to go out there.
And was not no emotions. It was not rattled. Nothing.
He knew what time it was. That right there let me know he about that business. He about that life. So he knew he was ready for the moment. He wasn't afraid of it. That's the type of team. That's the type of player that would concern me if I, to not overlook. And so out of those two teams, that would be the one I'd be worried about. Would be the Houston Texans.
Yeah, you said something there. You too young and stupid to not know what you should know. It's like Nico Collins is playing over his head. You got guy.
He didn't even play.
Was that?
I said Nico wasn't even playing in the game.
That's crazy. And they got Schultz. He's now all of a sudden the tight, one of the better looking tight ends in the game. And some of the throws that he's making is just like, that's not a rookie throw.
He threw for 350 yards, 2 touchdowns, ran for one end, had the turnovers and things of that nature, and still found a way to win. Again, I mean, look, when you got a player like that, bro, the sky's the limit. I mean, they are really at a place that right now, I think they're in like the 7th seed at the moment. So that would be a team that the Chiefs would play in the divisional game if they made it that far. But man, he's impressive, and so again, out of all the teams right now, that would be the one team I wouldn't want to see right now. I mean, we still win. Don't get me. Chiefs will still win, but.
You still have the it's so funny. You when you playing, it's like you playing spades. Y'all still got the big joker. We see when you got the big joker. You got Patrick Mahomes and the big joker is laying, waiting to go upside your head. You feel comfortable.
We got the big joker. We got the little joker. We got the ace of spades. We got Travis. We got Mahomes. We got Travis. We got Andy.
And you can't listen. And y'all got Taylor Swift. Y'all got all the commercials right now. Travis Kelce on everything. Here's how I knew he was up top. Anytime they say, listen, you are the spokesperson for the vaccine, I said, oh God. Travis Kelce, listen, they run promos in Cleveland for like Travis Kelce play for us. I know he's from Cleveland, but he ain't caught no touchdown for us, and we run promos like this man is on our squad. He's like, listen, you better shut up. That's Travis Kelce. Be quiet, man.